everyone. Welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting. And after missing a week, we're back with another round of Cash or Trash. I got my man Marcus hanging out with me as usual. What is going on, sir?
I'm doing well. Happy early New Year to all the homies. Blessings to all of you.
Happy New Year to everybody. We had several people in the chat early tailgating. My man GT Key and Unruly. Gordon rolling here right as we start. And so many competing shows. Well, you know, there's a lot of people want to talk comics, apparently, maybe. I don't know.
It's a good thing. I call that one of them good problems.
It's a good thing. So we will take it. We will take it. So, yeah, we'll see how many people come in and join us. As always, this is Cash or Trash, where we talk about the hot comics of this past week and make predictions sure to go wrong, because if we knew what we were talking about, we'd both be a lot richer.
I'd be winning a lot more money gambling.
Yeah. That we would. So what is that? What is Cash or Trash? Well, I do a look back video on Saturdays where we look back to hot comics from 6 months ago and see how they're doing in the market. And this video is basically a prediction video for that. What's going to happen over the next 6 months with the current hot books. This week, we're only looking at one list, the CBSI list, because Tom decided to do, which he normally does this time of year. He does the hottest books of 2024 list instead of the hottest books of last week. Some of those books weren't really hot anymore at the moment, so it didn't seem super relevant to just do those. So we're just going to do the CBSI list tonight. If anybody is wondering why that is. So that is my logic behind it. I don't know if it's right or wrong.
I like it. Works for me.
Yeah. So Marcus, anything you want to talk about before we get started here? Anything you got?
I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
You're ready to go. Okay. Just so I don't forget, I do have memberships now, and I want to make sure I shout those folks out, including my man Marcus, who is in the Titan tier. Make sure I shout those folks out, because I think the last time I forgot that we did the show, we got to the end, and I forgot to do that. I don't want to do that. Thank you to everybody that is a member of the channel. All right. With that, let's dig into these books. Add this to the stage. Go to my little thing where we're not tiny, and we'll get talking about this. First up, we got Headless Horseman Halloween Annual #1 from 2023. This is I don't know what would call it early, but a hard to find Mark Spears variant. He is now the monster cover writer guy, and this Headless Horseman book, which I don't know that he's actually the writer on, just did this cover. Somewhat hard to find, or at least people thought it was somewhat hard to find, and it has jumped from basically a $10 book a couple weeks ago to a $75 to $110 book right now. What are your thoughts on this Mark Spears variant, Marcus?
You know, I'm scared to have an opinion about this stuff because I kind of don't know where this is going to go. Like, this could be like one of the early all-time kind of things, you know, the way that Mark Spears is just going off. I'm not sure that the hype for him is going to die. I mean, how long it's been going for a while now? It's been sustaining for a few
we're talking
months.
like 6 months.
Yeah. So I want to say dumpster fire because $75 to $110 is crazy. But I'm scared to say that because, I mean, this thing seems to be sustaining at this point. So I'm going to say I'll be back instead.
All right. So just to give everybody, the previous sale before people latched onto this book was November 12th. A copy sold for $8. So just to give you an idea. And then we're going to go through this. There's an 85, an 80, another 80, a 75, an 80, a 75, a 75, a 90, 110, 95, 125, 100, 100. So there's almost 20 sales in the last few days on this book. And so the 125 actually came after I did my list, obviously. And there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 copies on eBay. So it's probably not as hard to find as people are making it out to be. People are certainly listing it. Not to say that like 10 copies being out there is super hard to find, but I would guess that's where I went with this as a dumpster fire. Because if this becomes a $40 book, which is really good for a book like this, a year old, that's just a cover, unless it's truly hard to find, and it doesn't seem that hard to find based on these listings and sales, now that it got hot. I don't know. We'll see. But that was where I went with the dumpster fire. Like if it's a $40 book, it's a dumpster fire.
Gordon, it's an annual #1.
It's an annual, yes. Yes, it is an annual. So
it is a nice cover.
It is a cool cover. I mean, I assume this is all he's doing, all digital art and that kind of stuff, but he's really good at it. It's really good art. It's really cool. So
he does nice with the cover or the colors as well. So.
Yeah. All right. Next, we got more Mark Spears. Let me get over here to it. This is a book that CBSI listed, and they were like, well, we didn't think it was supposed to be out till next week, but apparently it was already out because there's a bunch of sales. This is Return of the Living Dead, number 1. Just the regular Mark Spears A cover. This is just the A cover of this book. Going for $5 to $25 when I looked at it yesterday. So, there could have been sales again today because there was a $125 sale on that annual after I'd looked at it. But I will say the $25 sale was a couple days ago. The last several sales have been more $5 to $15. So this book had already kind of went up, and then it already settled back around $5 to $15 instead of that $25 sale here. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is definitely an I'll be back, but it is all of his covers are really nice, right? If you're getting in at the $5, cool, but if you're paying more than that, it's definitely an I'll be back. I would be careful about getting too hype about this stuff at this point, obviously.
And I will say that there is a variant of this that is going for around $70. It's basically the More Brains store variant. And the only difference between that cover and this cover is, I get my mouse, there is a More Brains store logo right here on the cover. So that is the difference. And it was limited to $250. So that is why. And it's going for $70. So just something to point out there if you like looking at sales and stuff. Are like, whoa, there's some $70 sales. So that is why that is happening.
What up to my Kansas City comic book brother Beckerman and my comic book dad Lorenzo? What up, y'all? Good to see you.
Nice to see you guys. Glad you could join us. All right, off the Mark Spears stuff. Our last cover for this week is Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn, #1, the Todd McFarlane 1/50 black and white, 125 to 200, which is a big number for a 1/50. But I will say this is the second week on the list. First week it was 75, so we are in that second week peak. So you get a book that hits the list, a new cover, it'll hit the list, it'll be at a value, and then it jumps big time in that second week. Almost, keyword is almost, never sustains that second week peak and settles somewhere down closer to the first week value. 125 to 200 on this one. What are your thoughts, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one. It's a trap. I mean, obviously there's a lot of love for Gunslinger, but this is not the first appearance of Gunslinger or anything like that. So there's not really a key or anything driving this book. It's just a cover thing. So it's definitely going to come down. I say trap with a lot.
And I don't know that there's a lot of really cool Gunslinger Spawn covers. I'm not sure this is one of them. I actually think, and I didn't look, but I would think this one might actually be better depending on the colors than the black and white. Just me, but it's probably not as limited, but just for me, this one might be better with colors than it is this particular thing. I don't know.
I like it.
I'm not saying it's bad. I just think there's better. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. So all right, next. Moving into the buzz. This is week 3 of this, although we didn't do it last week. Ultimate Universe 1 year in #1, the first full Ultimate Wolverine. This is a spoiler variant because you can see him, so you know he's in the book. 15 to 30, which is the same price it was 2 weeks ago when you and I talked about it. I don't know what it was technically going for last week, but the reason it's on the list is basically there's still just a high. It's still going for the same price, but it's just still a high volume of sales on this one. Thoughts on our Ultimate Wolverine here?
Yeah, same as before. I don't really believe in the longevity of this first appearance. So it's almost, I mean, 15 to 30 is not that much money, but it's almost trap territory for me. But I'll say I'll be back along with you. But I may be missing the boat on this one. But
I will say the only thing that gives me any pause on this, that it might have some better staying power, is the fact that the Ultimate Spider-Man book is still sustaining pretty well.
Yeah.
Actually, really well. So
yeah, I would have said I'll be back on that one too. So
yeah, I did not. By this time, I thought that one would have been an "I'll be back" from some of those early values, and it's not. But so that would be my. That's just my one caveat there. That's why I went with "I'll be back" and not "Trap" on this one. But the fact that it didn't really like take off makes me like, will this one hold up? So we'll see.
We didn't see it.
Another thing is, here's the thing. I will say the Ultimate Spider-Man thing has something going for it that this does not. And that is, people hate the current version of Spider-Man in the regular Marvel. And this was giving him a version they've enjoyed more because he's got kids, he's married, he's like, they let him grow up, and that people have been calling for, which is part of why that Ultimate Spider-Man has drawn so much attention and held it. I don't know if this is a version of Wolverine that people were necessarily like clamoring for, and I do think that affects the ability of these books to sustain quite a bit. That's just me. Hey, Deep House, what is going on, sir?
What up, Deep House? Lorenzo coming in with the straight cast prediction. I respect
it. Straight cast. Yeah. So there's not that many books to talk about, Deep House, because Tom didn't really put out a list. He put out a best of 24 list. So we only got 10 books. All right, next we got a little FF Annual number 6. First Franklin Richards, first Annihilus. This has been on and off the list numerous times over the last 5-6 years that I've been doing this. 45 to 175 for recent raw sales. The 7.5 went for 340, and this is on the list because of rumors of Annihilus being in the Nova show that's finally sort of been announced. We don't really have a timeline on the Nova show. We've been hearing we were going to get Nova for as long as I can remember in the MCU. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but think about how long it's taken them to get some of these shows out in the last couple of years. I still put this as worth it because I looked back over the last couple of months, it really didn't jump the value much here. It was just a big uptick in sales at the value that this book kind of goes for, maybe a slight uptick in value. Obviously, a Silver Age key of two of the son, Franklin Richards, their son, and a major villain for the FF. Thoughts on this one, Marcus?
I'm going to agree with you on the worth it. Obviously, this is a real bona fide key, 25-cent cover. There's a real scarcity to this book. There's a legitimacy to this book that you're not going to see in a 2024 book. So, as I always say, if you want this book, you've been looking for it. You've been looking to pay your price, and when you find it, you're going to pay it in. So, yeah, worth it here.
Yes. All right. Yeah, it's just a great book. And, if you want this book, it's not because you think Annihilus is going to be in it.
Well, God help you if it is, why.
If it is, you're buying it for the wrong reasons. But, all right. Next, we got Captain America 180. And Marcus and I had to both, couldn't remember exactly what the deal was with Nomad. And so this is the first appearance of Nomad, which is just a alternate hero name for Steve Rogers. Basically, got fed up with the government, decided not to be Captain America anymore, became Nomad. I think this stuff sets up some of the stuff with other people being Captain America at times. But anyway, he becomes Nomad. That's quite the 70s disco V he's got going on there in that shirt that he's rocking. And this, of course, has to do with Chris Evans is supposed to be coming back to the MCU. And they're like, well, maybe first people were specking on books where he might be an evil Captain America, now the Hydra Cap. And now they're like, well, maybe he'll just be an alternate. Since Sam's going to be Captain America, maybe he'll take a different name and be Nomad. $15 to $200 on raw sales. A 9.4 went for $275. Obviously, those raw sales are all over the board. But what are your thoughts here, Marcus?
Again, this is a real book. I like this cover. So theoretically, if you want this book, you've been looking for this book, and you're going to pay a decent price when you find it in your range. But if you're doing it because maybe he's going to be the Nomad. You're doing it for all the wrong reasons. So now is not a great time to buy this book. So I'm going to say I'll be back unless you're finding it in the lower end of the lower range on the price here. But it's a bona fide key 25-cent cover. If you're looking for it, you're going to pay the price that you want. This does not, John Walker and all that happens much later. So
it is much later. I after I started going down that road, I'm like, wait, that's not right. That was much later. That was in the 80s. So
I don't think
like early 70s. So yeah, I just don't think that, like D-Best says, I don't think this lasted very long.
It was a very short thing. So
it was very short. We have my buddy Matt coming in here. What's going on, sir? So he put out a video today. All right, next we got more images of Harrison Ford as Red Hulk this week. So that is why Red Hulk is back on the list as we get moved toward. Plus, what is it? February? Brave New World comes out.
I think so. Yeah,
I think that's right. So we're a little over a month from this Cap 4 coming out with Red Hulk. So obviously that is why this is on the list in the lead up to that movie. 55 to 85 for raw copies, 9.8, 250 to 350. I remember when some of the first rumors of Red Hulk this was like a $500 9.8 and raw copies were over 100, but this is where we're at. Going into the movie, which says, like, my guess is this book for the most part is sat around a $30 to $50 raw copy, maybe $30 to $60 raw copy. 9.8 is around 200. I would guess 6 months after this movie, especially given all the reshoots and that people aren't like, the rumors are this is not gonna. People aren't like super excited about this. There's some concern about this being good. I would say 6 months from now, this is definitely an I'll be back, maybe borderline trap, because people might not be happy with what happens here. So,
yeah, I'm very, very concerned about the stories of multiple rewrites of this movie. Not one rewrite, but multiple rewrites. Giving me, because I've been excited for this this movie. I really like Sam Wilson. I enjoyed Captain and Winter Soldier. So I've been looking forward to this movie for a while now. But all this talk about the rewrites is giving me major concern, which should give you concern for thinking that Red Hulk's going to have any life past this. So borderline trap, but I'm going to say I'll be back though.
Yeah, I mean, I put I'll be back on this one because this book has, it's had a fairly steady value from the rumors where we first had like the vial with red blood and all that kind of stuff that they were talking about. So that's been several years ago. But the other thing is, even if the movie is not bad, even things that have been well received with Marvel recently haven't sustained once the character has appeared. They just haven't. So there's always been a pretty significant downtick 6 months, a year after that movie comes out. I would expect it here too. I just would.
And does anybody think that Harrison Ford's going to reprise this role after this movie?
Thunderbolts, he signed on for those two, but after those two, I mean...
Oh, that I didn't know that, actually. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be in Thunderbolts as well, yes.
Okay. All right, well, then that gives it a little...
He is Thunderbolt Ross. I could be wrong on that, but that was my understanding, was those were those two appearances. But beyond that, we'll see.
He who remains says Marvel lost the crown, and I think competition is what we need. So exciting times ahead, I think. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
So we'll see. And hey, and everybody, they go through cycles. DC was making some crappy stuff. Marvel's maybe not quite up to the standard they once were. Look, I just want good stories. Whichever one comes from, I want good stories. I want good movies, and hopefully they'll start figuring it out. But yeah, the multiple rewrites does concern me here. A reminder: he does not actually appear in this book. He's on the cover, but he doesn't appear to the next issue. So as Red Hulk, just for the record, a reminder for folks. But nobody cares. It's just like Hulk 180, 181. People just want the cover. They don't care about whether or not the first appearance it's actually the first appearance. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think that hurts it. I don't think that fact hurts it at all.
It doesn't actually hurt the book. No, the people are going to buy the cover. So it's a part of the comic collecting thing that like I do not understand and drives me a little crazy. But oh well. All right, next. The Spectre, number 54. This is the first appearance of Michael Holt version of Mr. Terrific, which I think is the third or fourth version of Mr. Terrific. I can't remember. But that is the version that is the modern one, and obviously the one that we are getting in the Superman movie, that we see in the Superman movie. So this book has went through the roof after that Superman trailer. 1 to 150, 340 to 400 for a 9.8.
Second. He's the second Mr. Terrific.
Second. Okay, I was thinking there was more than that. Okay, so just a second. All right. Anyway, so I did have that wrong. Thank you for getting that correct. But yeah, this is a trip. Like, secondary character in a movie. Now, maybe it won't be by the time we get to 6 months from now, because I'm not sure exactly what the release date on Superman is. And people may love him, so it may not be, but trailers and announcements are the absolute height for characters like this. Secondary heroes, secondary villain, or villains, secondary heroes. They absolutely peak at the announcement and the trailer reveal. By the time the movie comes out, I would guess this book is not worth as much as it is right now.
It's definitely going to go down. I'm not going to say trap, though. I'm going to say I'll be back, because I have faith in Gunn. I have faith in the future of the DCU. So I'm hoping that maybe he can be a character that has life that goes on. He looks super cool. They went comic accurate in the trailer. Apparently, he's going to play a crucial role. He's a secondary character, but apparently he's a crucial role in this movie. So I think that this guy has potential. I kind of want this book, but definitely not now. It's an I'll be back for me.
All I will say is go look at some of the side characters, and by side characters I mean like Mantis and what is the sister's name?
Nebula,
and some of those from the Guardians movies. What those books are worth. Go look at, these are James Gunn movies everybody loved. Go look at those. Go look at those Suicide Squad characters. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, none of them got their own movie. I think this guy has potential to get his own thing, or maybe his own TV. Obviously it hasn't been announced, but I just feel like he has potential. But definitely be cautious here. Definitely be cautious.
I'm just saying. This is
being hopeful.
We're close to the ceiling on this bad boy. I'm just gonna say, maybe not. Maybe the ceiling is higher, but I know we're not near the floor.
Well, and it is a 90s book, so there's no shortage of copies.
No. Next, the real star of the Superman trailer, and it was not Superman. We got a couple of crypto books coming in here. We got Superman 712. This is a crypto story and a nice crypto cover. So obviously crypto's first appearance is a golden age. I think it's golden age. It's not silver, right? Pretty sure it's still golden. I forget now. Anyway, $20 to $50 on this for raw copies. There was a newsstand. It went for $60 on a raw, if you see that. But yeah. But go look at Lucky the Pizza Dog books, is all I will say on crypto. Cryptocurrency, yeah. Any thoughts on this one, Marcus?
Yeah, I think this is definitely short-lived, obviously. So I'm going to say trap along with you. It's only 20 to 50, but still, I would be real careful about going out and getting excited for this book. Not a first appearance or anything like that. So, no. Yeah, I'll say trap.
Yeah, I think that was a trap. Now, I think this next one, because of the cover, which is really just on here because of the cover, but this is a pretty icon. This was a pretty popular Alex Ross cover even before Crypto's making an appearance. This was a book that had some value. This was 20 to 60. Newsstand on this one went for 160. Now, obviously, 2008. That's not a ton of newsstands out there. I think this one has a little better chance of being more sustainable. I slid this into the I'll be back category. Your thoughts here?
Do you know what it was going for before it popped here?
Let me look again. So I didn't actually go back on this one. I know it's always had a little bit of value, but I don't remember. Let's go back.
Depending on your answer, I do want to say Trap. I don't see this crypto stuff having a life, personally. But it's definitely at best an I'll be back. Now is not the time to buy crypto books, you know. But it's not the first appearance or anything like that. So it's just a cover thing. It is Alex Ross, which is one of the greats. But I would be real careful about.
So it was a $15, $20 book before the trailer. $15, $25. Yeah. So it's basically. So, and that would have been pretty much what this book had gone for a long time. It's kind of in that, you know, small key range, 150 for a 9.8 kind of thing before the trailer. So you're looking at now it's like 20 to 60. So obviously the higher end. So yeah, if you're still getting it on the bottom end, I think it's probably going to continue to be a $20 book forever, but it's not probably going to be a $60 book. So
yeah, I'll be back then if that's the case. Yeah, and it is a cool cover, and you know you got to love Alex Ross.
Yeah, bark meh. Well, Lobo announcement came after these lists were made this week. Gordon,
look for that next week.
So yes, there will be Lobo all over this list next week. Like people are going to go absolutely insane for.
I'll be back, Trap. I'll be back, Trap.
Oh my gosh! How many times has Omega Man been on this list and then crashed back down because it didn't happen? So it finally happens, and it's going to go nuclear, and then it's like, yeah.
I don't. Again, the caveat to that is I have faith in Gunn, and if they make him a really dope, you know, anti-villain type character, it could have some pop to it. But yeah, now is the time to sell if you've got any Lobo.
If you got Lobo stuff, yeah, sell that stuff and then come back like year and a half from 2 years from now and get your Lobo stuff back for half.
I mean, perfect casting though.
He definitely fits that well. He fits that well, but yeah. Well, we don't know he's getting his own movie. He's appearing in the Super. Is it Superman or Supergirl or both?
I think it's Supergirl.
Yeah. He's going to be in the Supergirl movie for sure, I think. And I thought there might even be maybe a cameo in this one, but maybe not. But anyway, doesn't really matter. People are going to go nuts for this over the next couple of weeks. So,
and I think same as Mr. Terrific, though, I think he has real potential to spin off into his own thing and have some life beyond that. So potentially it could raise the basement price for his first appearance. But
yeah, I think it raises the floor, but the floor will not be whatever it's going for right now.
No, definitely.
So that's all right, that's it. We only had the 10 books this time because Tom did an annual look. I'm going to do, once again, since a couple of them showed up.
Shout out to Tony, the only Robin tier.
The only Robin tier. Tony is here, so shout out to my members. And He Who Remains, also a member, so shout out to those guys. So, yeah. And with that, Marcus, you got any thing you need to pitch? It's New Year's Eve. Are we getting a New Year's Eve version of FOC and Chill? Or are we going to be in trouble if we do that? So we're doing
we are actually, but I will not be the host. We're going to have a special guest host tomorrow night. Check the thumbnail if you're curious as to who that special guest host will be. And I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know how long he's going to go. So check that out. See what happens. FOC and Chill will be back tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Me and Lorenzo will not be going live this week, Wednesday night. But we are going to go live Friday night to do our best reads of 2024. So look for us for that. And then back next week to our regularly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday schedule.
Nice. Very cool. As for me, I keep saying I'm going to do a 2024 recap, but I haven't started on it yet. I'm not sure when we get it done.
I got a lot of work to do. I'm not ready for it either.
So at some point you'll see that video. It might be like mid-January. I don't So we'll see. We'll get something done at some point. So with that, we're going to get out of here. See if Marcus can do a little better on his guesses for the football game here after halftime. So with that, I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. Everybody was watching, and a Happy New Year early coming up. And yeah, we will see you in 2025. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you hanging out, watching the channel, participating, being a part of it. That's why we do this, so we get some interaction. So
shout out to everybody watching on the replay. Happy New Year, you guys.
Yep. All right. With that, we're going to get out of here. Later, everybody.